Oh Lord, look at me. My name is Michelle Head, and I'm the outreach coordinator for Harmony Church, Atlanta. And I just called Ursula and asked her if she needed some help. And I went on Facebook and asked my classmates if they would come and help our church, help Ursula and Napoleon Armstrong with their Thanksgiving ministry. And I became outreach coordinator because I used to be homeless in the city of Atlanta, as well as a drug addict in the city of Atlanta. So I have two perspectives on how to serve the people in the city of Atlanta. And I know that everyone who's homeless is not a drug addict, and everybody who's a drug addict is not homeless. And I know everybody has different reasons for why they're here on the streets, and I have a perspective on how to help them as well as minister to them. And when you're a part of something, it's easy to identify where the need is and how to talk to people and associate with people and not make them feel bad about themselves, and be able to talk to them and help them feel good and do it in such a way that they're not embarrassed. And that's what I bring to this outreach, and as well as bringing other people into the outreach and helping them to understand the homeless culture and the people that we're serving. And that's why I'm here.
And with that being said, I understand the main thing you brought to attention that stood out was respect.
Yes.
Now, how crazy in the city of Atlanta? Because it's like if you don't have money, then people don't respect you. So when
that's true. If you don't, they do, and the people will walk past you and they fail to realize sometimes that the people that walk by, sometimes they're not always asking for something. There's a lot of people, homeless people, who would rather do something and serve and work rather than to ask and get to be given something. People look down on them because every homeless person also is not a drug addict. It's a lot of families. The working poor is so many working poor people out there, as well as mentally ill. Once they closed the mental institutions here in the state of Georgia, the mentally ill didn't have anywhere to go, and they're out on the streets. And that's an awful thing. And you have to understand that they need a hand, not a handout. Everybody's not just looking for you to do something for them. If you give us the skills, give people skills and true ways of getting off the streets and making a way to help themselves, they'll take it. Now, there are some people who are self-serving, but it's far more who would rather be served and helped out than there are who want you to just do something for them. And it's just being able to identify those who really want to help. And the city has just done a great disservice by shutting down the places that really do help, because it's just awful. I can just tell you some stories.
And let me ask you, because a lot of people overlook that issue that you just brought up,
okay.
The mental illness part,
okay.
and combining with how hard times is now. How important is it that we be able to recognize that and try to get help in the ones who we kind of feel might have some?
It's real important that we help recognize people with mental illnesses because they have medications that they have to take. And when you have to go to a shelter where you have to be in by a certain time and up and out by a certain time, you can't take the medication that's prescribed for you, because most of the medication is sedative. It makes you sleep for like sometimes hours at a time. And if you can't take your full medications and sleep, you don't get the effects of it. So they have them out in the street acting crazy and foolish and things, and so then they'll start taking different types of drugs to help narcotize what's going on with them. And then they end up in jails, hospitals, doing things that they wouldn't normally do if they could take their proper medications. And everybody overlooks them and thinks, oh, they're just a drug addict. No, they actually really do need help. They don't need to be in jails. They really don't need to be in homeless shelters. They really need to be looked after in a medical sense, and not just walk past. And some of them have people, family members, who are receiving their Social Security checks and things like that, but they're not letting them stay at home with them. They just want the money. And they just want to say, oh, we're receiving the check on their behalf, but they don't want them living at home with them. And that's a great disservice. There's a lot of that happening in the city of Atlanta. And nobody's recognizing that, nobody's addressing that and paying attention to it. There's a lot of homeless people on the street who receive Social Security checks, but they can't afford a place to stay. There's nowhere affordable for them to live. So they just go month to month with their check, living in whatever, paying for overnight hotels, or staying at Salvation Army, just trying to keep their head above water, so to speak. But it's not really living. It's really not living, and it's just something else needs to be done.
And one last thing, is there anything that you can kind of give on the terms of hope? How important is hope in life?
Hope is very important. because I remember mornings when I woke up when I didn't have hope and I was wondering why did I keep waking up. But thank God I did keep waking up because God wanted me to be here to see and experience and try to find ways to help people. Hope is the only thing that keeps a person going. And once you give up, then there's nothing else left. And you never know what experience you're going to bring to another person. It might be something in you that another person needs. It may not even be for yourself that you're here. It may be for others. And that's where hope comes in. Just continue to say every day that you wake up, this day. What is it this day? Don't look at tomorrow. Just this day. If you just have hope and pray for one day and let the rest take care of themselves.